Good afternoon. Welcome to the 99B Educator Professional Development for Computer Science and Computational Thinking Technical Assistance webinar. In just a moment, I'm sharing my screen here so that you can see. We have a slide deck. You will get access to the slide deck later on, and we'll show you how you can do that. My name is Cheryl Wilson. I am the computer science consultant at the Michigan Department of Education.
And I am Gina Lovelace. I am the Educational Technology Manager at the Michigan Department of Education.
And you will see on this slide, we have an OSET grants page that will give you more information if you want to keep up to date on this. There's our email address if you have some questions. And then this has the 99B grant overview. Again, we will make sure you have this information before you're done today. All right, our agenda for this technical assistance webinar is just kind of a quick introduction, go over the grant program goals, talk about eligible applicants, discuss non-public schools consultation, do a grant overview, what are some key dates that you need to note, and then Nexus application is actually going to be information and then questions. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Gina to do grant program goals.
Sorry about that. So the goals for this grant are to really bring up those staff members in your district that don't teach computer science or computational thinking and aren't familiar with some of those pieces, to really support them in their comfort and their knowledge. So we really want to see some high quality professional learning. Actually, we want to see, this is the legislation that we're reading from. So the legislation would like to see some high quality professional learning for computer science and computational thinking. It does support districts in that K-12. We would like to see some creation of resources. So if you find that teachers are creating integrated lesson plans with some of the content once they become comfortable, we would love for that to be shared as part of the grant. Professional learning around the grant, and then one of the assurances is participation in script training, which is we'll talk more about here in a few minutes.
Thank you. Eligible applicants will be your local education agency, basically districts and public school academies. Just one note about making sure with your non-public schools, there is a note in there about making sure you've at least discussed it with them and making sure if there's any offerings for like professional development. I mean, basically the main question, how might a non-public school participate in the process? If you offer professional learning, that it's offered to their educators as well. So a big part of the grant overview, this grant is designed to develop and implement teacher professional development programs for computer science courses and content that will reach new and existing teachers with little to no computer science background. We were super excited when this legislative ask came from, our bill came from across our desks and to support this. So you will find within the grant overview, it's a little bit more detailed on allowable and unallowable expenses, but we decided to go ahead and throw a few sample grant activities in here. One of the things, it supports coaches and mentors, and the very first thing you see here, like you could add a district computational thinking coach, and it could be a full-time equivalent position. It definitely looking to support professional development related to computational thinking or computer science. And you'll see a few of those other costs that come along with it that can be included. In district work meetings around CS implementation, including script. If you have not had a script workshop, that can be included as a cost for this. Maybe attending a computer science conference. CSTA is a great organization. Some districts may want to use some of that. And then the cost to support the mentoring, the coaching of your staff related to computational thinking or computer science. So giving you some good ideas of how these funds could be used. And Gina, I'm going to let you do the key dates here.
Absolutely. So the good news is, if you're seeing this, the application window is open now. So it went live on December 12th at 7 a.m. The application is due January 16th by noon. We realize with the holiday that is a tight turnaround. But in order to get the money in your hands as quickly as we can, this is unfortunately the flattened kind of dates that we need to work in between. Hopefully by mid-February, that means that awardees will be determined and announced. And then the award period actually started October 1st and won't end until September 30th of 2025. So that's the good news.
And so on this slide, in case you're not super familiar with Nexus, we do have a link to some Title IV instructions. We do want to make a note because this kind of confuses a few folks. This application needs to be initiated and submitted by a level 5. You may want to check. We are strongly recommending districts make sure that they have, maybe a level 5, or even can't they have a couple, Gina? Because there's a process for that, and making sure you're up to date on that. When you're looking for it, it's called Section 99B, Educator PD for CS and CT. So you get a little bit of a shortened form there.
One thing I will also note, that if you're watching this and you're going level 5, I don't know what that means. That typically means that it's your superintendent and or your business manager. It might be somebody else within the district, but I would say the typical district, those are the 2 positions that hold the level 5 access.
And so there we have, we also created a document for questions, that because we know questions are going to come up, and we've already started to layer some of that in there. I'm just going to pull out of the slide deck for right now. And once you get the slide deck, you can see that, but you will also see here, this is the actual grant overview. And as we go through it, we're not going to go through this in detail, but you're going to see there's $4 million that is being awarded for computer science and computational thinking professional learning. We went over the goals, your timeline is there. Districts are allowed to apply for up to $200,000 per district. We go over the activities supported with the grant funds. We also list some unallowable expenses, so make sure you note that. We go over a little bit of the selection of the award applicants, and then we dig into the grant criteria and rubric. Realize that these are going to be actual questions within the Nexus application, addressing your statement of need around the work. How is your district preparing for this? What is the capacity that you have? What about sustainability and underrepresented groups, as well as attaching a budget? And so reviewers will not continue proposal assessment if the criteria are not met. Then you're going to go through, and we actually have laid out the sections, giving you a little bit more detail on that, followed up by a detailed rubric and how we're scoring in this process here. One note, project budget, please be sure to describe in budget detail area the specific use of the funds and where they connect to support your work. We will be considering some locales, making sure, there's a little bit of variety on there. And then for the funding and the reporting information, there's a lot of stuff down here. A lot of the stuff will not be necessarily stuff that you need. Right now we're going to talk about, there is a reporting section right here. Please note that there's some information there on what you're going to need to report. And it goes on, there's some assurances that go on, talking a little bit about script right here. There's quite a few districts in the state that have gone through script. If you have not, there's a little bit of information right on here. It's usually like a 1-day workshop that we follow up with some checkpoints. And it'll get your district started on planning for CS. Going
And
through.
Cheryl, as a note, I think it's good to remind them that script is not something they need to go to CS for all to schedule. Actually, Cheryl and a couple other folks around the state do that training. So we'll just need to schedule that within our own state. So that's not something you need to go find to schedule. We will help you through that.
Perfect. Thank you, Gina, for the reminder. So yeah, they can just contact me. And then you will notice at the bottom here, we have some of these documents. The slide deck is on here, the Nexus application, where we'll attach the recording, the FAQs are here. We've provided kind of a working template to go ahead and start your work. So if you want to go ahead and do some of your planning, we have an example application that you can take a look at. And then this is the grant overview document that you're seeing right here. So we've double linked it in there. So, all right. I can't think of anything else that we need to cover. We are going to be holding some office hours on December 18th, Gina. So if you...
I'm going to my calendar right now and going.
Monday, I think it's Monday, December 18th from 2:30 to 3:30. And if you missed that, please reach out to us via email, the MDE dash edtech@michigan.gov, and we will answer your questions. So thank you for watching this recording, and we hope to see a lot of applications coming through. Thank you.
I'm going to put the email in the chat for the recording so that folks can grab it from there too. There it is.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.